Terima kasih untuk yang datang hari ini 4 jam driving mana. Wow. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second time I had the opportunity to share what we have done so far in Indonesia. So the title have a word beyond. Beyond means long term. But as what's his name? Diana say I'm a politician. I'm not so sure about that. So. But if you say politicians, beyond and politician, it normally doesn't work together. Because politicians are normally short term, depend to the wind, depend to the political situation. But anyway, I try to share here, and I think I will need much more the involvement of everyone, not only Indonesia, but the whole international community to further develop and make it happen. Proposing it to United Nations, proposing it to all international institutions to work together on keeping the oceans healthy and safe. So let me start with our policy where we try to accommodate the mission of our government to build the future of the nation by the oceans. That the ocean will become our future. For 72 years, Indonesia has the independence, and so far we only think Indonesia is an agricultural country. But 71% of our territorial are oceans. As we also understand, 71% of the world, of our planet, is also oceans. So from that point of view, we should actually taking care and look more after the oceans. But at the moment, the ocean still a lot of parts are unknown. A lot of things that's happened at the ocean also being neglected. Nobody really care. And we also remember that 60% of the oceans are ices. Of the 71%, 60% of it are the high seas. And at the moment at the high seas, there's nobody, it's kind of nobody land, nobody taking care, nobody look after, and a lot of crimes, activity is happening, transnational organized crime, especially that we investigate in the last 3 years on the fisheries crimes. Fisheries crimes involve from slavery, transfer the fuel, catch, illegal catch, and many other crimes. Also arm is all transferred at the high seas right now. So we start with the visions of the president on putting the nation future on the oceans. So, and we understand that Indonesia fish stock had been depleted almost more than 50% in the last 2 decades from 1990 to 2010. From the survey of Indonesian government and World Bank, from 2003 to 2013, we lost almost 50% of our fisheries household. Why? Because there is no more fish. I can see myself, before I became minister, I was a fish trader for 30 years. I came from a small village in the south coast of Java, at the Indian Ocean side. We used in the old days, 1990 to early 2000, still about 10 tons, 20 tons red snapper, 10 tons of shrimps, and then suddenly 2001, early coming less and less and less until almost nothing anymore. We didn't understand why that time. We thought our community had been fished out our oceans, our water. But it was not that actually happening. So at 2001, Indonesian government started giving concession to foreign fishing vessels to fish in our water. So basically legalize the foreign fishing vessel to do fishing in Indonesia water. So the concessions by license. So every single fishing vessel buy the license and they go fishing. But it's not happened of one license, one vessel. What's happened was one license, it's duplicate. There are about 10, 20 boats, the same color, same name, and so basically duplicating the license to catch more. And they do everything transship at offshore. So nobody can see, nobody can look. So while on that 10 years, Indonesia concesses 1,300 licensing to foreign fishing vessels. But in the Indonesian water, actually there are about more than 10,000 foreign fishing vessels. The size is between 50, 70, 500, 800 GT. They're fishing all out, depleted all our stock, and finally when I come to my post as a minister, the fish stock of Indonesia was left at 6.5 million tons for MSY, for the sustainable yield to be able to catch. And then after we see all this problem, I proposed to my president to do moratorium, to be able to investigate and analyze what's the problem we had. So we did 6-month moratorium, and we starting call and also ban on the same time transshipment at our Indonesian EEZ and Indonesian territorial. And then after that, we also enforced with so the moratorium regulation minister number 56, ban on transshipment number 57, and then minister regulation number 58 to enforce the disciplinary at our department. Because as a government civil servant, they cannot be fired. So you only can do discipline to them. You cannot fire them. So we have to do something, because otherwise my policy cannot be enforced. So that's what we did, the first 3 things in my 2 weeks work. And it was good spirit in the beginning of the cabinet to work together. So Minister of Law and Immigrations finally launching approving my policy only 3 days. I think that it's launched. So the first time in Indonesia, Minister Decree regulation is launched within 3 days from its submit. Before it takes years to go, but that time only 3 days. And then we starting to investigate all the foreign fishing vessels, and we find it more and more that illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing is actually more than just fisheries crimes. The Benjina case breakout, I think everybody already read on the investigated by the Guardian and the Associated Press. They work together to open up the slavery at Benjina Island and the Thai foreign fishing vessel in Indonesia, but they use Myanmar and Burma seamen, and we released I think 2,000 of them. And but sadly, the 2,000 is only little part of seamen that working unregistered and almost as bad as a slave, basically around the globe. I think almost 700,000 people work as a seaman in very bad condition, very bad treat. That's out there, 700,000. So what we get to release 2,000 is just a little part. That's another big problem of ocean crimes, of illegal fishing and unreported. So from what we learned in this matter, we know that Indonesia has to move forward. Finally, by also executing our regulation number 45, 2009, that we actually able to sink every illegal fishing vessel that catch fish illegally in our water. And the death threat effect we want to get, so we publish the way how we blow the boat, but actually we did not blow up the boat. we only blow the paka, just for media and photograph purposes. Look, it's horrible. But anyway, for the nations, I think this is something that all you can also study, how a policy and a very serious matter being taken action in Indonesia in a way the people taking it as kind of a kind of a fairy tale almost. They make mural, they make this, they make that. The nation taking it as a new fun. But I think it's also pride also and proud. Not only how you call it. So the movement of taking the illegal fishing vessel by sinking them, it's become kind of a national. Everybody talk about it. Everybody like to take photos about it, and make the people actually who do illegal fishing are scared. So finally, within 3 months, I think Indonesian water are almost free from the illegal foreign fishing vessel. In result, it sounds easy, but was not easy. To push in my department alone to get the list of the 1,300 license, it wasn't easy. Everybody's scared in my department. Everybody feel that there are some pressure. Everybody think the terror is going to come to our department. And I have to convince everybody to move forward together. Don't fear, don't scare, don't think people will threat us. Just go, move forward. That was the situation. Outside people thinking it, oh, Ibu Susi will go and sing the boat. Nothing else. But it was not easy actually, the situation in our department. Takes a lot of meetings to put the police, to put the navy, to put the army, to put the whole politicians to come together and say, yes, we do this. And in result, after 3 years, our fish stock increased to 7.5, 9.9, and I think 2017, it was 12.5 million tons. Increase of 6 million tons, if you calculate a dollar, that's $6 billion. It's an incredible increase of deposit on our fish stock. And the catch is also incredible increase filled by all the Indonesian fishermen. And the president also committed fully. He found for us the Task Force 115, where basically we tried to learn from United States, actually, where Mr. Obama was found a task force specialist for illegal fishing. So we do the same, similar but not exactly the same, where basically these task force are incorporated work between Navy, National Coast Guard, the General Attorney, and our ministerial. And we work together to basically execute every single case of the illegal fishing and unreported. We have done so far 363 vessels. We have been tracking it down and seeing them become new home for many places. Bali still requests for more vessels to be seen for the diving side because it's always making new reef. Very nice. So if there is complaint, you can explain to them that we don't pollute the water because we take all the polluted items in the ship before we sink them, and basically already clean. So they become new reef, new home for new fish. I think that's a good destiny for ship that has been sinking and destroying our reef. So it's go back to become new home for our fish. So anyway, so. So what we see at the moment, the purchase power index of our fishermen is also increased. So this is Indonesia. Mungkin tadi dari yang 50% fishermen down data. Yeah. So this is a real survey of World Bank and Indonesian government, that within 10 years we lost 50% of our fishermen household. And we expect with the new stock that we had, the people will more interesting to go back to fish again. And at the moment we also see the purchase power index of the fisheries household increased from 104 to 110. After anyway, so the competitiveness on fishing business is also increased from 100 to 120. So that's basically increased very sharp, 20% more than used to be. And for the first time, after many decades, Indonesian fisheries sector GDP are #1 in Southeast Asia. The last. So, and we could see Thai also down almost -15, and then the other country, Vietnam and Philippines, also all are minus. Why? Because they mostly get their fish from our water. It's not. But we invite, with the new policy, Perpres number 44, that's a president decree regulation, we open 100% for foreign investment in processing. So any foreign company can come to Indonesia and invest and own the company 100% for processing or manufacturing, buying, technology for the seafood. But fishing is now become only Indonesian fishing vessel. We cannot anymore foreign fishing vessel. So we close the fishing industry side, but we open 100% for foreign investment in processing. So that's what we have done. So, yeah. So here you can see the national purchase power index of our fishermen is increased very sharp, almost 10% within 3 years. And then the competitiveness on business, on fishing, basically increased almost 20%. So why? Because now the catch are closer, they don't have to go far anymore, and the catch is also more and bigger, the size of the fish. It's always scientifically, you know, if the fish are getting smaller, the size, mean the source is depleted. But if the fish size is getting bigger, that means the stock are also increased. And the biomass of our oceans also increased almost 234%, 224%. And I think where many other parts of world are depleted and the biomass decreased very sharply, Indonesia increased very sharp in the same time. So our water now much more healthier, and many Indonesians now often able to see a lot of whale shark, a lot of sperm whale swimming just come along on the coastal line. A lot of them. I was last month in Probolinggo, paddling around almost 30 of whale shark around, just less than 1 mile from the beach. And almost every day we get the information from here, there, a whale shark or a sperm whale, pilot whale, just come along around. Also dolphins are starting to be around. That's the signal that things are coming back. hopefully in my hometown also, which is already almost 20 years, we never see anchovy. Starting last year, we see them again every good moon. Normally when the full moon are not coming, but when the dark moon are coming, we get 5 to 10 tons. Just a small fisherman village. It's a big thing happening. And of course, what we have done, it sounds easy, but it's not easy. And of course, the player of illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing had been enjoying the business for so long. They want to come back, and they lobby in many ways. They knock many doors to basically starting questioning why we don't open anymore, or why we don't increase our vessel on fishing to make the industry more and things like that. And we work together with international on continue to combat the illegal and unregulated fishing, because I think this has to become now the priority of all of us to do, is to save the oceans, to make sure that ocean will keep the stock for generations to generations, not only for us now. But the biggest problem is right now the illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing still free, doing anything as much as they want at the high seas, because high seas are kind of nobody land. It's basically kind of a duty-free zone to do any crime. So what's happened in Indonesia, now they use the local fishing vessel to supply them at the high seas. So they catch in Indonesia and they go out, and they in the EEZ, that's in 10 miles or 15 miles from the EEZ, there is a big refrigerated collecting boat that waiting and getting all the catch from Indonesia. This is what happened right now. And also drugs. It just sized almost 3 times 1 ton of each boat, fishing vessel. They bring something crack. Meth, white powder. Sabu, they call it sabu. Meth. Yes. Amphetamine. So almost 1 ton in one boat. So the fishing vessel normally is very this the boat. Yeah. Or methamphetamine. Yeah. And almost in 2 weeks we get one after another, and they use fishing vessel. They use the fishing vessel to also human trafficking for immigrants from several Middle East countries to Australia or to another part of the world, and they use the fishing vessel. So we cannot not anymore to see the fisheries crime illegally, but it is more than that, and it's done by transnational organized crime. Because what we see from several vessels that we track down, it's always more than 3-4 nationalities on the boat. And one vessel, an example, the Viking that we tracked down, this is Silver Sea. It's this one. It's 1,200 gross ton boat. They have a long line of 7 kilometers long, and net in total was 399 kilometers. And they have five nationalities. The captain from Peru, Chile, and Ecuador, and some seamen from Myanmar, from Indonesia, and they have 25 flags on the compartment. Most of the illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, they have more than 4 or 5 flags. So basically, they use any document, any flag it's necessary. And the IMO tried to put that the flag issuer or the state flag as to start to be responsible. But it is not easy because sometimes they use Nigeria, they use Mongolia, they use Equatorial New Guinea. They use such a small country that it's even tough to call or to ask for to be accountable. It is almost impossible. So what we see here is just the way they operate is transnational. And from our investigation, we also see they are connected to many established seafood marketing companies. So it is not just fishing illegally, but they also wrap it in a very decent, very appropriate and respectful way to sell, to market their product. So they basically, the customer almost cannot see that this is coming from illegal catch, something like that. And what we see from this, that the loss of the country that experience the illegal, unregulated fishing, Indonesia are more than, I think, 2,000 trillion. So it's almost $20 billion every year. And one of that boat is each earning at least $30 million a year. So it's a big money. One of the boat that catch by the Ecuador government was catching 400 tons of sharks in Galapagos Island. And the Ecuador government penalty them for $6 million, I think. But I was informing the minister that 400 tons of shark is worth more than $4 million, one-time catch. So if you only penalty them for $6 million, it's nothing, because in another second time they can catch again and pay back. So I think I was provocating the minister to do the same like us. Confiscate them and sing them, and that's the easiest thing. And immediately they will run away from it. So what I have tried now is proposing to the United Nations in the last ocean conference, and I will continue to promote, is the ocean rights. We talk about climate change, we talk about future safe fish stock, good protein diet for next generations, but if we don't care of our oceans, it's not going to work, because our ocean is 71% of our planet. And the 71% of our planet, 60% of it is ice seas. If you don't give the rights for the oceans, there's nobody protect, nobody do law enforcement at the high seas. And these people will continue to just take anything they can, to just do anything they can at the high seas. So we do have to start how to propose in an appropriate clause and everything. That's of course the job of the Harvard people, not me. So you have to gather together how we can give the ocean a rights. If we want them to be important part of us, if we want the ocean to be our place, our support, our last defense of climate change that can change the whole planet, we should start with it. So people cannot just do anything at the high seas. The 10,000 foreign fishing vessels that fish in Indonesia is not anymore in Indonesia water, but it doesn't mean they will go docking and stop fishing. They go somewhere. They go to Micronesia, they go to New Guinea, they go to Pacific, they go everywhere. Africa. Africa, most of them already depleted. I think only South Africa still have the fish resorts quite taken care. But the rest of Africa, almost nothing anymore. South Africa is on the way to be also phased out. Everywhere will be phased out. And the biggest problem is the unfair trade, the unfair competitions at oceans between artisanal fishermen, between traditional fishermen, and all these illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing vessels that use very extensive, very intensive fishing method that almost take everything they can. And this is why I'm continuing wanting to promote the ocean rights. I think we have to. Every one of us has to go, move, propose this to be happened. Us, a little part of the planet, have the human rights. So the oceans should have it. We should give the ocean a godfather who can protect them for us, because we need the ocean. And other than that, we also cannot allow the crimes is happening out there, and we cannot do anything. This is what happened right now. And with the Global Fishing Watch, you can see immediately how the people are shipping everything at the ice. And this policy for ban transshipment that Indonesian had been done is, I think, should be followed by many other countries. But that's only protected the EEZ. Still doesn't protect the high seas. The high seas should be a together communique between all international communities together and make that there is no transshipment allowed, only maybe emergency or for military purpose that need. But for commercial, it should not happen, because there people can do many things. Transnational organized crime have the safe haven to do their practices at the IC. And if we don't do anything, I'm afraid that the tuna, most migratory fish, are passing the ICs. And we have the biggest breeding zone for yellowfin tuna. Almost 68% of world yellowfin tuna are bred in our Panda Sea. But if the mother of tuna doesn't come back to our Panda Sea nursery ground, there will be no baby tuna coming. When there is no baby tuna, then there is no mother tuna. When there's no mother tuna, there's no baby tuna. It's a cut-off that you have to start thinking how to protect it. We don't want our great-grandchildren doesn't know what is tuna anymore. I knew many countries are now starting doing their sustainable fisheries system management. We do the same. We ban trawls now. We also start to protect the crab, the crustacean, that certain size should not be catched. It is not easy. Reforming is never easy. And restructuring is even more painful. But we want to do this. But again, as a politician, I can't keep going. The government has the trust. So when it's changed, then the policy can be also in question. Hopefully, with the publicity, with the digital media now, that forensic of news, of things what happens is much more wider, read and known by community, by society, but it is also sometimes many nations are also easy to forget. And many politicians, of course, they're also easy to forget things. So normally they just want to have new thing, or this, now my time, I want to change things. Hopefully Indonesian will not do that anymore. Hope the numbers that we see can convince whatever the existing government continue, or the new government, they will always remember the number that we have. The fish stock increased almost 100%, the GDP on fisheries for the first time #1, the food task power index increased, competitiveness, business increase. Hopefully this become something that they want to continue. But that's again, we need everyone to put and to chips on it. To go that such a policy that's good, it has to be continued. It has to be sustained. Without sustainability, we won't able to continue on the same path to be better, to have much more good improvement. Continuity and sustainability, that's the only way to make a nation moving forward. With all challenging situation with the global economy, I think the President Joko Widodo, our president, to make the visions into the ocean as national future is actually the right thing. Because that's what we had actually big potential. It's not only fish, there are also gas, there are also oil, there are also more resources. And if we actually agree to give restriction or regulate it in a sustainable way, the only thing for renewable natural resources to move is more productive. On renewable natural resources. If you do restriction, you do regulations, adjust your regulation even stricter into renewable natural resources, the result will be only more productive, cannot be less. So, because the fish, the shrimps, everything, the livelihood will grow more, will replenish more. And this is, I think, what we all have to start thinking. And ocean needs all of us to give them the rights to be able to be protected for us, not for the oceans, for us, because we need the oceans. It's become international uniting, the oceans. But if the crimes, the overfishing happening, the ocean will be just blue with no meaning and no use for us, for this planet. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih banyak Ibu Susi. We will now open a question and answer session.